Hello, welcome back to Primo Calcio. Today we're going to be discussing Gennaro Gattuso after he was chosen as the Azzurri new manager. I'm Michael here with Anthony as usual. All right, so just going to kind of be a little bit impromptu, not a real structure to this, but big news. First off, Spalletti fired. I think we both agree with that. What do you think about Spalletti being gone?
I mean, he probably should have been gone right after the Euros. He had to go into that tournament with absolutely no idea of how you want your team to get set up. That's pretty frightening. It was pretty obvious that there was one of two formations we should have been running. So yeah, just had no structure, no plan, and it got better for like a couple games, and then it just went to a complete and utter shit show. Um,
I think it
Quite
got better
promptly.
just
So
because he's changed formation to a formation that actually fits the team. However,
yeah,
there was no actual tactic. There was no actual patterns of play. People did they didn't. There was no link between midfield and attack, and so like really the only type of plays they got was if like Moise Kean did something on his own. I mean, there was
yeah.
really no great link, and that
There was
hurt
a
them a
couple good
ton.
moments. The first France game was pretty decent. I think that
Yeah,
was it the second France game. I remember they made like a late, like they started Locatelli and it was a disaster. He had no idea how to move the ball, and then they brought in Ravel and the game, got a lot better. And that there was a couple good moments, but it was all on the players really. And he didn't have anything to do with it. He just doesn't know how to organize a defense. I don't think he's a tournament coach.
no. I think he's better at a club, which is where he should be. So, and honestly, I mean, there's some places that will be kind of opening up for him.
Yeah,
It's if he was gone earlier, maybe he would have landed one of the jobs at like a Roma or Atalanta or Lazio or something like that. Maybe he would have ended up at one of those clubs, but he didn't. Who knows? He would maybe might have even ended up at Milan. I don't know, but he's kind of floating around. So we'll see what happens with Spalletti. I do think that it was the right call for him to go. Um, Funny enough, when we were kind of deciding, is he gonna resign? Is he not going to? I was like, no, he's way too stubborn. This guy is not going to resign. He definitely proved that right because he was basically just fired, and he did not want to leave. So he could have doomed us even further. So I'm glad he's gone. But the biggest news is going to be the replacement. No big name coach. Nobody's been there, done that as far as coaching goes. Nobody who's got like massive tournament experience. They go with Gennaro Gattuso. What do you think about it? I mean, I
well, I mean,
think initially we were pretty down on it. However, I don't know. I'm starting to turn around a little bit. What do you think?
Gattuso is one of my favorite players of all time. I mean, I love the way he plays. He's one of a kind, and they certainly don't make him like that anymore. Not even close. Like his style. Um, I just don't think he's much of a tactician. But the real question is, do we need a tactician right now, or do we just need a guy who's going to pick the right players, put them in the right spots, and just light a fire under their ass? I would have said in years past you shouldn't have to do that with professional athletes, but the times have changed, and I think you might just need like a basic coach to give basic instruction.
No, I think that I very much agree with that. I think that in years past you didn't have to worry about that, but we are in a very modern age, and as we bash this a lot, you shouldn't have to motivate yourself to play for your country, which is the greatest honor that there can be in the game. But you see it all the time. I mean, and I think it is a consequence of all the money that's been shelled out to people. I mean, basic players these days, like basic players, never going to go down in history, never going to even remember them, make millions and millions every single year. And that's just, I mean, say what you want, competing with other sports, it's just not good for the game because once you get that contract, people just don't care. I'm all set for life. I'm all good, and you see it so much. I think that that's really infiltrated the world of sport in general, soccer a lot or football a lot. So it's I think that definitely plays a big role. And you see these guys more into about posting on their Instagram or making sure that they are have some type of like celebrity status rather than actually just being a football. I think Gattuso for that regard is perfect because he hates all that type of modern stuff. He's gonna get these guys hopefully to play hard, and if you don't play hard for him, you're off the team. I guarantee you, Gattuso is gonna do that, and that might be actually what we need more than a tactician right now. I know we just gave Spalletti a problem for his tactics. However, he's also not a massive motivator. He's not a hard ass. Gattuso is.
Yeah, I just don't think Spalletti's entire style is well suited to tournament play. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the ideal pick. I would have much rather seen Max Allegri,
Yep. Or
Ancelotti.
Ancelotti. Yep.
Yeah, and this is the problem. The FAGC just waffled, couldn't make a decision. They waited too long to do it, and those guys were off the table.
Yep.
So I think he's probably the best choice out of all of them. Maybe Mancini would have been better. I don't know. But you know, I like Gattuso a lot as a player. So he did a decent job.
When he was at
Was
Milan
it?
the first time, I actually thought he should have been given more time. He got some players to play that you just couldn't motivate. Like Bakayoko is one of the dudes who, like, the second Gattuso left, he was just lazy, sloppy dude. And same before that. When he came in, he got that guy to play, and he was amazing. He can get people to perform and get the best out of certain players. And I think if he does that on the this team, they're gonna go a lot farther than they would have otherwise. So, and there is enough talent here. No, it's not the teams of
Definitely.
old. We don't have that. It's just is what it is, right? But there's enough talent here to compete amongst the best. We might not be the top 2 or 3 teams out there, but there's no way we're actually as bad as the last game looked.
I
One,
mean,
go ahead.
I think the sad thing is, if we did have a guy like Allegri, I think a coach like him would actually get the absolute best out of our national team because he'd lock things down, which is exactly what you want to do in tournament play, and that would put us in a position to compete with some of these, little quick wingers that we're going to be facing now. That's the biggest competition. I'm not afraid of any single team. I'm not. I don't think any of these teams are that good.
No,
So it's just a matter of having a basic structure and playing your ass off. So maybe it's enough. Maybe he's the right guy for the job. It's hard to say bad things about Gattuso just because I like him so much. But is he a great tactician? No.
no, he's not. And I mean, he did a good job the first time at Milan, but then it kind of faded away, and he really hasn't done very well anywhere else, like results wise. However, national team is a lot different. It's all about pride. It's all about, like, caring and getting the best out of people. So maybe this is actually what fits him. I would say I wouldn't really pick him for that much of a club manager because you have to manage a lot of things, a lot of tactics, a lot of different games throughout the season. I don't think that's really his bag. Maybe eventually he'll get there, but maybe this is actually best for him. I do like some of his quotes. He's very much so about creating a team and not just making stars. He says, I'll repeat it. It's all about the team, not individuals. He says, I'm convinced the squad has values to achieve its goals. Because when Buffon and Gravina called me, I didn't hesitate for a second. He says, this year, Serie A had 68% foreign players. This number should make us think we need to give our young players a chance. Missing 2 editions to the World Cup in a row isn't easy to swallow. We have to rediscover the enthusiasm. Fear leads nowhere. So, I mean, I do
Awesome.
like that he actually cares. He saw that Syria has a problem. He understands that these youngsters are not getting a shot. He really wanted to bring Chiesa back, which I think is very, very key because we don't have that many true world class players, right? And we talk about world class a
No.
lot, but the ones who can be there, in my opinion, you've got Tonali, you've got Chiesa, Barella.
Yeah.
I'm not putting Bastoni in there. I don't think he's a world class
No,
defender.
I don't think
He's
Bastoni is. I think DeMarco could be a world class
yeah,
side
DeMarco's there.
midfielder,
Yeah, DeMarco's there.
wing
He's
back.
world class winning
Yeah.
back. So we got 4. We have 4 on the
Yeah.
team, right? It's not like
Yeah.
it was in years of old where like 8 out of the 11 were basically top class. But there's enough on there because the rest of the guys are good, right? Buongiorno's very good. Calafiore is very good in their own roles. I'm very
Yeah.
curious to see what he does. I don't want to see Di Lorenzo anymore. I'm
No.
curious to see what I really want to see his selection. That's going to tell me a lot. But I do like that he said a big thing about getting Chiesa back and making sure he gets back to Italy, starts playing again because he realizes, yes, even though he's not been playing for Liverpool, he needs to play because he's one of the few top class players we actually have. I like that stuff.
That's true. Yeah, I think people really shit on him. I think he got treated pretty unfairly, in my opinion. But no better time to prove those people wrong than now. I mean, because you're not going to get many more opportunities. So I think I said in the last cast, I think he is in a position where his back's against the wall, and he needs to perform, or he could be done. For far as any sort of international respect goes. So I think I have confidence that he's going to rise to the occasion. So no better time than right now to do that. And then, yeah, I mean, I like our midfield. I wonder how he's going to run it, what formation he's going to come out with.
I hope he runs 3, man. I really hope he runs 3. You could run
Yeah,
2, but I hope he runs 3 because if these guys actually play at their best, I mean, if you're running Tonali, Barella, or Ricci based on who's more in form, and then you have Barella, that's good, man. I mean, you have Ricci,
yeah,
Rovella, Barella, Tonali. That's very, very good. Casadei, I like it as an inclusion. I mean,
Yeah.
that's quite good for Fratesi for more like your late game if you want to push forward, or if you're playing like a lower end team and you need to get goals. That's Fratesi's specialty. So there's enough there by far in the midfield. I wonder if he's going to run three.
Yeah. The issue is our attack with only two up top. That if let's say you run a 3-5-2, you have to run. Keane, Retegui are our best strikers,
Yeah,
but you don't
and
really
none of those
have anybody
midfielders are
naturally.
attacking mid.
Yeah, and you don't have anybody that can really play next to him. So you start them both. You just start one of them. Start one, bring one on, and then run someone next to him. The problem is, Raspadori is not that guy. I mean, maybe
No,
sometimes, but not enough.
Maldini can
Chiesa
be
can
that
do it.
guy, but he's not ready yet, in my opinion. Like
Yeah,
Maldini can play Cam, but he's not ready yet. Like he actually could, but he's not ready yet.
I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's more of a striker than a cam. It's just in a 3-5-2, Chiesa can do it, but that's not certainly not
Yeah, he's
ideal.
also
I
not a
think
Cam. Yeah.
do you go back to 4-3-3?
You could I think that's gonna be the big choice. Do you go 4-3-3 to keep the three-man midfield and run some wingers and run guys like Orsolini and Chiesa because you have them there, right? You actually have some good quality there. Politano will be a good sub as well. You do have enough wingers to make this thing work out there. Or do you run just the 3-5-2? I mean, it's highly
Yeah,
possible. You could also do something where you run a two-man mid and run a 3-4-3. That's also possible too. I don't love that as much. I think I'm between 3-5-2 and 4-3-3. The one thing about the 3-5-2 is if Cambiaso and if DiMarco are actually on form, they can be your links. Like they can be
yeah,
a pretty big link, and you just have Barella play a little more forward. He's quite talented, and if you say, all right, if you're running Rovella Tonali, you say Rovella needs to sit back, Tonali needs to play somewhere in between D mid and CM, and Rovella should have, or sorry, and Barella should have more of an opportunity to go forward and fill that attacking mid slot when your wingbacks are pushing forward. That would do
yeah.
it. I think that's more than good enough. And then when he comes off,
I agree.
you've got Casade who can do that as well, right? Who does slide into that more CM AM role, and then you got Fortezzi who can do it as well. So that should be fine if you run it right. So I think the 3-5-2 is still my preferred formation, but I could see a 4-3-3 working as well. I do want to see Orsolini involved in the national team though.
Yeah, I do too. I definitely feel like Orsolini is best on the wing.
He is, but he
Just
can
like
play
Chiesa.
CM. Same with
Yeah, it's
Chiesa,
just
yeah.
never.
Yeah, it's the same
Yeah,
thing.
it's the same deal. They're just not ideal in that spot. I don't know. It's probably fine to be honest with you. Just
That's kind of
run
what
them
I'm thinking.
there.
I mean, if you bring both, you actually have some tactical diversity too. You can run a 3-5-2, and then if you need to, it's not that hard. The very next game, you can run a 4-3-3
Yeah.
if that fits you. It's not that bad. I know people think it's wild to change formations, but why not? Until you figure out
No,
what you
it's
need
not.
best. He's got 3 months or 2.5 months to work with the team before the first game. I mean,
Well, and I hate our defense in a four-man back line. I really
that's
don't
more
know
what
who
I
that
yeah.
central two is going to be. The central. I mean,
It's more about the
okay,
side backs. Like who the
yeah,
heck do you trust at We have amazing wing backs and terrible side
yeah,
backs. So it
I
totally
agree.
changed. It goes from like a top class choices of Cambiaso and DiMarco to awful side backs.
Right. I mean, neither of those guys I'd want at side back. I would never want Cambiaso and DiMarco playing with that kind of defensive responsibility. They're
No
just not
way.
good enough there. So that, and then you take off a center back and you just have two. And I don't. Who are you gonna? You're gonna bench Bastoni?
You gotta have
It's
Buongiorno, and you
yeah.
probably
Buongiorno's a
run a
lock
guy
for me.
like Coppola or Calafiore or something like that. Because I don't like Bastoni at 2-man D. I don't think
No,
he's not defensively sound enough. He's
I agree.
not good enough at it.
Well, I think he's a poor defender in general. I really do. I know that that's probably crazy for some people to wrap their head around, but I've never been impressed with his defensive ability. But
No,
I think that he's got to stick with the three-man back line. Um,
I
and yeah,
think I
you got
still
to run
lean
wing
towards three
backs,
five
man.
two. I mean that's
Yeah,
still what I'm seeing. I want to see 3-5-2. I don't want to see Di Lorenzo on that back line anymore. I want to see some of
yeah,
the talented youngsters called up. I like the midfield. Because even if you look at our wing back subs, you can run a guy like Udogie to sub. He's going to be a good wing back. He's going to be a
yeah.
terrible side
Bellanova.
back. Yeah, but Bellanova, same thing, right? Actually, Bellanova might not be
Yeah,
terrible at a side back, but he's still better going forward. So
yeah, much better.
those are your four, and that's a really good wingback core. So I think that the
Yeah, I like it.
formation kind of picks itself. We'll see what he does. The issue is going to be how he transitions to attack. That's going to be the issue.
Wow.
You
I mean,
need, but
no, you go ahead.
let's say you do need a guy like a Chiesa who can drop a little bit back or an
Yes.
Orsolini who has some creativity. I don't think Raspadori is good enough at it, right? But I mean, I do like him on the team 'cause he scores some clutch goals, but that can't be your starter.
No, the thing is, Raspadori does do a decent job.
Yeah,
He
he
does
does a
like
role.
yeah, he does the bare minimum of dropping back and picking up the ball and moving it. And he is pretty skilled. He's just not
He's
excellent.
not the guy, but he does score
He's
big
not the
goals.
guy.
You know,
He
he's.
does.
I mean, I would definitely keep him on the team. I wouldn't want
Oh
that as
yeah.
my out starter.
Yeah, and I can never tell with Raspadori if I'm just giving him a hard time or if, you know, because every time I feel that way, he scores a big goal or he makes some nice plays. I'm like, man, he's pretty decent. And then,
He had a pretty rough season
45
prior to
minutes goes by where
Conte.
we don't hear about him. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and he does fade in games too. He definitely doesn't
He
have
fades.
a lot
Yeah.
of presence, you know. But I mean,
Yeah.
he's not an issue. We just
Yeah.
don't have like. It's hard when in years of past you have like a Del Piero guy there, right? And then instead now that guy's Raspadori.
Yeah. We used to have Del
It's just a
Piero and Totti.
difference. Yeah, I mean you got
Yeah.
like truly like legendary players there. Now you got just a solid, decent guy.
Yeah, but no one's got that guy. That's the problem. That's why I'm thinking wingers are probably the way. I mean, every team's playing with wingers for a reason. It's just basic mode,
I
and
know,
that may be the way.
I
It's
know.
just so easy to do it. So you may just run the 3-4-3 and just run because it's also easy to transition to defense because your wingers can drop back. You defend in a 5-4. It's that seems the most basic, simple way to do things, and I think that's kind of where we're at. You just got Tonali and Barella in the midfield, and
Yeah, and,
you
and
know,
if you need to play extra defensive, you run Tonali and then Ravella, and then now you have
yeah,
like true more demons lock it down. You could do that, and especially against a team that you think you need to actually press more, right? You don't need as much midfield presence. You could definitely run a 3-4-3, and then against a team where you need to pack the mid more, then you go 3-5-2 and play a little more defensive counterattack ball.
yeah. This
So
is why
that's
I'm
not bad.
super curious. I think we're gonna know by his call-ups what formation he's gonna run. I
Yeah,
think that's gonna tell us everything we need to know.
yeah. I mean, for up top, I would of course keep Keane, Retegui, Luca, Raspadori, Chiesa, Orsolini would be like my six up there. Politano, I would consider almost like a wingback sub.
Yeah.
I think he can do it. I think that guys like Politano, Udogie, Bellanova, Cambiaso, and DiMarco are going to be your wingbacks. Um, Midfield, we already talked about that one. Defense, who would you call for defense? I mean, you had to call
Uh,
Buongiorno, Calafiore, Bastoni. Who else do you call for defense?
well, I
Three
don't
more.
think there's. Yeah, so I would definitely be running Buongiorno and Calafiore with Bastoni. Would be my three, and then I would have. God, I mean,
You run
Coppola did
them.
well.
You could
He
run them.
cleared a ton of balls. He cleared 15 clearances, and he was completely isolated by two horrible defensive partners in this last match that he played.
Yeah.
I'd keep Coppola up on the team. I think you got to have some young guys back. We don't really, what's he going to do with Mancini? Mancini played really well under Ranieri this year. That's a guy that might get another shout. I just don't.
The issue with
That guy scares the
Mancini
crap out of
is
me.
he's like Di
You know?
Lorenzo to me. He's been a problem on the national team his whole career. He has not been good.
Yeah.
He's brash. He makes a lot of mistakes. He will cost you at least one massive chance or a goal every single game, just like Di Lorenzo. Now, Di Lorenzo had quite a good season under Conte at Napoli, but it doesn't mean he's all of a sudden this national team player. And I feel the same about Mancini. He actually impressed me the second half of the season for Roma. However,
Yeah.
is that going to translate to the national team? I doubt it. I would not. I would not pick him. I think
Well,
I've been really impressed with him this second half of the season, but I wouldn't pick him.
no, he just scares me, and I don't think he offers any sort more stability. He doesn't make me feel any more safe than a young guy would. But what I would do is I would see how Gauti and Gabbia do this year. Gabbia with Allegri
Those are gonna be my
might
calls.
really take the next step. Gatti had a good season last year. He had to step up and he was their best defender for sure all season long, and he had to step up and kind of deal with very irresponsible defensive partners next to him when he's not really the most positionally sound person on planet Earth. But he did it. He did a good job. I mean,
And
you
he
had
can play
the
right
top
center
defense for a
back
while.
in
Yeah,
a back three. I think if you're looking for backups, right, you have him. You have Coppola who can probably he's still young. He can play wherever there. But you have Gatti and then Gabbia. And I think I would
yeah,
actually pick those three right now as far as my
yeah,
backups for the starting line for the starting lineup. So I'm right in line with you. Right
yeah.
in line.
Those are my guys. Those are my guys. Yeah.
Well, we'll see
Yeah,
what
and
he does. But
I'd like to see in midfield Mandragora. I'd like to see
that's a
that guy
great
get a call
choice.
up.
That's a great call.
We don't need to have. I mean,
That's a
we
great
don't
call.
have all these star players to be playing out there. He's a hard worker. He does everything well. He's got a good shot.
He does
He tackles
nothing
hard.
bad. He does nothing bad, and
Yeah,
he works his ass off all game long. That's totally like uh just a really good national team player. Yeah, that's a great
yeah,
shout. I like that a lot.
yeah. I'd like to see him get cycled in. I think he just has a very good value and would play well with the
Super
boys.
stellar, super solid player. I think he honestly I think he's actually underrated. And since I've
Yeah, me
watched
too.
so much Fiorentina this season,
Yeah,
he was excellent almost every game.
I think he's their most consistent midfielder.
Oh, by far, by far. Maybe he doesn't
Yeah,
have the highest
yeah,
ceiling, but he's got a ton of talent too. Like he actually
yeah,
has talent. Like he's a natural athlete. Like, he's just good at stuff,
yeah.
which I
He's a
like.
player.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, that's one I hope doesn't slip through the cracks there. And we have a season to go to see where how Fagioli does. I know Fazzini just got signed by Fiorentina, so there's some players on some new
Yeah.
teams that I'm looking at. Trying to see
The
who's
Esposito brothers
gonna
are on
step it up.
Inter. Like you never know. Pio
Yeah,
just scored a goal tonight again in the Club World Cup. I mean he's looking pretty strong. You never know. So I mean there's a lot of talent out there. It's a shame that Milan has totally screwed over Camarda and hasn't played the kid because
yeah.
he could be something special in a year or two, but he has no playing time. So I fear he's going to be mismanaged and he should be joining the national team soon, but he probably won't.
I think between our two clubs, we can just forget about young Italian players playing for them. I think it's best if they leave and go somewhere else.
Yep.
Truly, I don't think they're going to get any sort of reasonable opportunities there.
It's so sad that you got a better chance at playing at Inter as a young Italian than you do at Milan or Juve.
Yeah,
I mean, this is
yeah,
that's a total like just change in
yeah.
mentality and a backwards in Serie A. It's just weird. It's weird to kind of to say that, but it's been the truth for the past few years now.
Yeah, it's this betrayal of a century worth of philosophy, and you just completely just modernize it with some new crap that isn't making you any better. I mean, our teams have been doing this for a long time now. It's not like we just started doing it a couple of years ago and it's not working.
Yeah, Milan is
We
not better for it. We're not all of a sudden a remarkable team, you know. And so, like, what's the point? I get it if you're
yeah.
like, man, we're winning Scudetto after Scudetto, we're competing in Champions League. Okay, fine. I guess I gotta say it's fine. We're not doing that. What is the point? Juve is same. I mean, I
Well,
don't
I
know.
think things might start happening, and this is just me being hopeful. But Capello said something, along the same lines of what Gattuso did
It's
recently. So
noticeable. Yeah,
yeah, it's definitely noticeable. It's just it's pathetic and sad. So I think that something eventually will change, but if it's going to be fast enough for this World Cup, I don't think so. But
he's just
I
got to
think we
get
talked
us
about it on
there.
the
I
last
mean,
one.
look, I don't think
Yeah,
anybody's gonna do anything special in there. There's always a chance, right? But I mean, he's got to get us there. We can't miss another one. And then you never know what can happen once you start getting into the knockout stages. Italy always
right.
struggles in group phases. Knockout stages, we can surprise some teams, but we just got to get there. We can't make another mistake like we just made the past game or so.
Yeah, I
Can't
mean,
do it.
like let's not forget the team Conte had that he did pretty damn well with. So I think we have probably a little more talent than that.
No, the generation is fine. I mean,
Yeah, it's
it's
fine.
not like the teams of old, but no team really is. So
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're not far off. We're pretty damn close. So it's just a matter of getting the coach right here and making the right player selections.
yep. Well, I think that's probably all my
Yeah,
kind of initial thoughts on that. We'll have maybe some more updates as he kind of has more call-ups. We can do some evaluations after he has a couple more
yeah.
call-ups and we see what he wants. That's it for me. You have any final thoughts?
No, no, I have no thoughts at all.
No.
Empty brain. Brain's
Well,
empty.
at this point, I'm feeling more positive. We'll see what Reno
Yeah.
does. And thank you guys for joining us. Remember to like and subscribe, especially if you like the Italia content, since that's kind of where our real passion lies. And as always, Forza Calcio.